Guys, so we are back at Harmon Resto, and of course I dropped my car off last time, which I mentioned in the last video. So we were trying to diagnose a couple problems, which was my blinkers, my hazards, my headlights, and just some other random fixes. And of course I'm just a normal garage guy working on my car, and sometimes you can miss some simple problems. So I'm gonna go ahead and start showing you guys what we fixed and what Harmon Resto was able to do for us, and kind of go over the simple fixes that I should have caught. So I got Eric here from Harmon Resto, and he's done an amazing job fixing up the car, and we want to go over what was wrong with my hazard switch.
So Jordan did a really good job cleaning the contacts and doing everything that, theoretically would have fixed the problem, but what happens a lot is, the spring-loaded ball that kind of glides against, the mechanism that engages these contacts just fell out. So when you put it back in, it just wasn't on there all the way, so that's why it was kind of intermittently working or not working enough, because that little bit of extra travel for this just wasn't there, and it wasn't making the contact it needed for it to work. So luckily we have a box of spares. We threw one in just to double check our theory, and it fixed the problem.
And so that's why you want to bring this to a shop like Harmon Resto that has all these spare parts, because if one of your parts is not working and you're a guy like myself who maybe doesn't know how to diagnose all these problems and use a multimeter like a pro or whatever, these guys always have the parts to just swap it out.
Do this fix at home, and you want to make sure it works before you put it back in the car. You're snapping it back together. Obviously the rocker switch has an action that it does, and it moves the side of contact from the center to this side or this side. So you just use a multimeter in continuity mode, probe one side to the center contact, and then individually test each contact as you flick it and make sure it's doing the work that it's supposed to do. Keep in mind that it's kind of counterintuitive. If you flip it this way, it's actually contacting the opposite side, or it could be. So kind of just go around and make sure. And if you have the most common issue is one will contact, the other one won't. And that's going to require you to take it back off and kind of play with bending these tabs to make sure that you get it to both make contact at the same time, or you're having still a cleanliness issue. But that's the biggest thing you can do to make sure it works before you put it back in the car, or before you even take it apart to clean it, to make sure that this is your actual problem. That's a little simple test you can do with the multimeter.
And so Eric and the guys have been really good at diagnosing those problems, and of course my headlights and my blinkers were just super simple, dumb problems I should have figured out myself. And so the headlights, I actually the fuse was blown. I just needed to replace the fuse, or at least it was going out. So that's a really simple fix. I should have caught that. And also my blinker relay, the flasher relay, or the flasher, whatever you want to call it, it was unplugged. So I don't even know how I went under there and spent so much time in the garage trying to figure out how the flashers went on, and I only put it on halfway. So small issues cause big problems, and I'm just glad that we got it here fixed. And we also have some pretty cool things that Harmon Resto has done custom for this car, and they can do it for your car too. So we'll go over that just real quick.
All right, so the rear emblem and the rear quarter there, we had an idea where we can just drill a hole in it and put an LED, because there's like a lot of hollow space back there, so that when you activate your blinker light, it kind of backlights the emblem, and it kind of is an extra turn signal.
Yeah, and I think that is a really, really cool touch, and definitely added safety, which I really like. As you guys know, I added the third brake light, which is for safety, but also looks cool. And I think this is along the same lines. When you have new cars, they have blinkers on the side of the car so that people can see you when they're right next to you. So having this little extra safety is very cool, but I also think it looks really cool as well. All right, so we're gonna go over here to this other table where Eric's gonna show us some of the tools that he used to make my wiring job a little bit better and not so amateurish. So I'm gonna flip around the camera and we're gonna check out some of the tools that you might wanna check out yourself. So Eric was just telling me that this set of different connectors and things is what someone like myself would use, or you at home would use, which is totally fine, but there's a better way to do things with these different crimpers and tools. So Eric, go ahead and go over what you just told me.
Right, so this is an example of a stock nylon connector that you'll find in 280s and 240s. And they're non-instant, they're non-weather tight, they're just these spade terminals that are pushed in and locked. And that means that you can remove them really easily with a small pick or pick-like tool, where you put the pick in, all you're doing is bending that tab, it'll come out. If you have access to these new terminals, you would cut this off, take the new one, put the 2 wires you want to put in it. In this case, the stock wire that goes to the existing taillight bulb, and then the extra wire you're running to whatever, you know, addition you're making. Use the special crimp tool, crimp them down, slides back in, and now you have a custom, no tape, no crimp, almost OEM style connector. So it kind of makes your install look a lot cleaner and a little bit more long lasting, you know what I mean?
So you did that in the back with my third brake light. So you basically put 2 different wires in this this thing here, crimped it together. That way we're not splicing anything. We're literally just putting 2 different wires into one connector. And
that's okay with certain circuits. So you have to keep in mind that if it's a light load circuit like LEDs like we're adding, it's not enough load where it's going to be a problem for the connector or for the existing wire. Maybe if this was a higher load, you know, headlights or something, you might want to be a little bit more thoughtful what you do. But for LED ads, this is like the amperage of a cell phone charger, so it's not a problem.
Nice. Okay, so then what are the tools you got here? So these are, so you can get regular crimpers that I have at home, but what is special about these ones?
These ones are ratcheting crimpers, so they apply a lot more strength and give you a lot better crimp. Even for these butt style connectors, they make them look a lot better. And as you can see, these are all the different types of connectors that it comes with that you can do. And what we'll be using is what they call open barrel crimping, which is this style, which is almost all OEM connectors, even modern ones, use open barrels. Put the raw wire in it, you select the correct die, and then you crimp them. And if you don't want to buy a large set like this, they even make individual open barrel crimpers that only do one thing, which is open barrels.
Right. So. Cool. Well, so that's just one way how they've made my setup a little bit more professional. All right, and so Eric also added some weather packs, which is a good way of attaching different things, but also being able to detach them so it's not permanent. So I soldered my third brake light to the switch, which is a permanent solution, which might not be the best solution. So he added some weather packs, which can make it a little bit more removable if you need to.
So these are weather packs. You can get them off of Amazon and stuff like that, and they come in a different variation of pins. So like single circuit, most commonly it's going to be 2 circuits, and then up to 4. And you can buy even different iterations than that. And they're just like the open barrel crimps, but they're the more modern style factory GM ones where they're females and male pins. And the advantage of...
Let me see those ones real quick. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, so it's way tinier.
Yeah, and it goes into the female.
Oh wow. That's cool.
That's exactly when you unhook one of these from your car, that's what they look like, right? This is a factory style. The only advantage of these and why they're called weather packs is you'll notice that they have the silicone seal all the way around them, and these are the ones you'll find in modern cars in your engine bay so that they're waterproof. You know, you go through puddles, and then they also have a back waterproofing that you put around the wire so that when the wire's in them, there's also a weather pack silicone seal there too. So they're pretty much close to being waterproof.
And so this is one of the reasons why, again, I wanted to bring it to Harmon Resto and get this done, because when we end up pulling the engine and we paint the car, I want to really address a lot of the wiring, so that way the wiring is a modern technology, works well, and also it's gonna last another 50, 60, 70 years, because this car, hopefully it will go to a next owner and be, you know, their toy that's gonna last a long time too. So if you wanna get something done for your Datsun, make sure to come to Harmon Resto. They're always doing quality work and bringing new technology to the old cars. So I'm really thankful that they were able to fix these little problems for me, and I can just address this on a Saturday and pick up the car, so this is really great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this content and a little bit of an inside look of how you can make your car even better than it is now. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.